Well, I'm in a traveling mood again, so I'm going to pay a visit to Lori and Greg Miller in Arvada, Colorado. See if I can lend them a hand with their project. Now, they decided to turn a small window ledge in the dining room into a cozy window seat. And if it turns out the way I imagine it, it should make a great spot to curl up and read a good book. Hey, you must be Greg.
Yes, Ron, welcome.
Hi.
And Lori?
Yes.
I got that straight,
yes,
huh?
You did. Pleasure to meet you. Welcome to our home.
Thanks. Can I go inside and take a look at the project?
You
Please.
bet. Come on in.
Ron, this is our project area here. If you want to take a look, you can see we already have a window seat built in, but have a seat. It's fairly narrow, not quite comfy enough.
Not quite enough to
right.
really relax and be comfortable.
Everybody gravitates to this area, no matter how many open
Well, it
seats
looks cozy.
we have. It is, sure. So as long as everybody's going to come to this area, I figured let's make it comfy, cozy.
So what you have in mind?
Well, Ron, what we'd like to do is take it out a little bit wider, a little bit more functional.
Okay. And you want to use the space that's inside?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good. Here's what I'd like to do then. Let's start by taking off some of this woodwork down here, some of this trim, and then I want to make some measurements. And we'll go out in the garage after that and start cutting some wood.
Sounds great.
We start by using a small pry bar to remove the shoe molding. The putty knife protects the baseboard from dents. Then Greg cuts through the caulking at the top of the baseboard. This will keep us from tearing the wallboard as we pry off the woodwork. The trim on the edge of the existing seat and the wooden corner molding come off next. Finally, Greg and Lori lean into their pry bars and muscle off 2 layers of plywood from the old window seat. We remove a few remaining nails, and now it's time for some precision measuring.
The width there.
Okay.
All right, we have 12.5 plus 1 line.
It's one little line. Got it.
I've taken your dimensions and made a little sketch out of them right here. This is kind of what the window box is going to look like. The first thing that we want to do is to cut this piece right here. That's the one that's going to slip onto that ledge underneath the window. We're going to cut our window seat out of 4 by 8 foot sheets of birch veneer plywood. This 8-foot aluminum straight edge will allow us to make cuts with the accuracy of a table saw. We first measure and mark the width of our panel. Then use the built-in clamp to secure the straight edge in place. Lever down, okay? Now this can't go anywhere. We've placed the plywood on parallel strips of lumber, leaving a space underneath. The saw blade is adjusted so that it cuts through the plywood, but not into the work surface below. Now it's time to start cutting. Now you can see what happened here is that these spacers here and the other two kept this cut from moving at all. Nothing moved around, so everything gets supported and nothing binds the blade, or do you have to hold on anything? Now we can begin to assemble the base of the window seat. First, we apply a bead of glue to the edge of an end panel. Perfect. Okay. All right, we're going to put this up here and get this in position. Now, Lori, if you can hold that right there. Okay, I'm going to put a clamp on the bottom just to kind of hold things from keeping them from moving around here. All right, now we're going to nail this together. We could use a hammer nail, but I'm a real fan of the nail gun here. Very simple to use. Just want you to put it up here like this. Press it up against the wood. You see how this moves, this right here? Make sure it's straight. This is in alignment with the side back here. And pull the trigger. That's all there is to it. One of those about every 2 or 3 inches.
That's all there is to it, huh?
Lori is a quick study, and she and Greg move ahead, assembling the rest of the base. A brace across the center will help support the top.
Okay, I think that's good.
Good. Next, we mix up a batch of polyester resin. This is car body filler, and we apply it to the exposed plywood edges. The advantage of this material is that it dries very fast and will allow us to go right ahead and start our painting. We'll make the top from a single piece of plywood, to which we'll add strips of molding. Using the power miter box, Lori makes 45-degree cuts on the ends of the molding.
It's not bad. Yeah, not bad. Thanks.
Again, we'll apply glue to the edge of the plywood.
All right.
Go as far as you can, and you can either finish it up or hand it off to Greg. Okay, Greg, this is that piece of casing. Just put this right on top. Now, I want to slide it down so that the inside of that miter is right at the edge of the wood. Let me know when you're there.
I think I'm there.
Right there, okay. This is a smaller nailer gun called a pin nailer. The fine brads used by the pin nailer will keep the molding from splitting. Once the front molding is in place, we apply glue to the end pieces and the miter. Slip it into position and nail it. Well, we finished building our window seat. Now it's time to give it a coat of paint.
I can see it coming together.
The first step in installing the window seat is to replace the old plywood that we took out earlier with a new piece. Putting it in place, Greg. So this is going to cover up the ledge, replace that piece that we took out. Now let's get the window seat itself. Just like that. Okay, Greg, slide it right underneath. There you go, just like that. The base is attached by first drilling clearance holes through the back, then driving screws into the wall studs. So there's a gap right here between the front here and the floor. So to fill that, we're going to slide in a shim to make sure that this is resting on the floor. This is a piano hinge. It's a continuous hinge that runs the full length of the top here. So let's set this in place. Let's hold it right in there. Okay, move it down.
Ready to try this out?
Let's try it out.
Okay. It works.
Look at that. Like
Yeah.
a glove.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
We're getting close to the end now as we reinstall the trim at the corners. And around the base. Last piece, huh?
Oh,
Nice fit.
this is great.
Okay, Lori.
Okay, here we go.
With the last piece of molding in place, I get to sit down on the job.
I would have
Oh,
to
at least
agree.
for a moment. Well, I'm going to hit the road,
Okay.
so enjoy this.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Enjoy it.
Take care.
You know, there's nothing I like more than comparing a before picture with the end result.
Wonderful.
I agree. We're going to get good use out of this.
No doubt.